I'm Megan from meganandjk.com, the place for people who want to raise a family and run a business from home. And today we are talking about what to do when your kid has too many toys and you have no idea how to organize all of them. Lachlan had his second birthday last weekend and we came home with all these bags of toys, and it's like, I feel like it was just Christmas and we finally got everything shoved away places, and now we have a bunch more toys. And what are we supposed to do with it, right? That's kind of what we say as parents. My kid has way too many toys. So today I'm going to be talking about the solution for too many toys, and that is rotating toys. Now, I love this strategy because I used it when I was in the classroom teaching preschool, kindergarten, and elementary school. It's a teacher-tested approach, and also it's backed up by a lot of scientific research. So we're going to start by talking about the benefits of rotating toys. Then I'll tell you how you can actually implement it in your household, and stay to the very end because I'll also be talking about 2 mistakes that people make all the time when it comes to rotating toys. And I don't want you to make these mistakes because it pretty much voids all the effort that you put into rotating them in the first place. So what is rotating toys? It's selecting a small group of the toys that your kids have and putting them out for them to play with. Then you put the rest away. You're going to swap out whatever toys that you're displaying every once in a while so they get an opportunity to play with all their different toys. It feels like there's new stuff coming out, but also they're not overwhelmed by all of these choices at once. I kind of like to think of it like when you go to a bookstore or a library, they have all the books on the shelf, but some have the covers facing outward. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to pick a small group of toys to face outward on the shelves. The rest are kind of packed away. That doesn't mean they can't play with them, but that's not the ones that we're putting front and center for them to use. And then we're going to kind of rotate out which books we're putting forward so they have an opportunity to experience different toys and play with them in new ways. There are a lot of benefits to this. The first one is it keeps your house just a whole lot more organized. Instead of having 20, 30, 50 toys out, you only have 5 or 10. So you can imagine it's so much easier to clean up. And not only that, it's easier for your kids to clean up. Think about us as adults. When you look at your kitchen and it's like chaotic all over, you're like, I don't even know where to start. Kids feel the exact same way. But if they only have 2 or 3 toys out on the ground, it's really easy for them to pick up. So if it's easy for you to clean up, it'll be easy for them to clean up. If you walk into your kid's playroom and it's overwhelming and you don't know where to start picking up, you can imagine they feel it 10 times more. So putting out a small group of toys makes it easy to clean up, not only for you, but for them. Not only is it easier to clean, but it gives you a lot less clutter in your house. If you think about it, instead of putting all your kids' toys on the shelf, if you just have a select number, it really just is visually a lot more appealing. So you don't have to walk into the room and feel like there's a lot of clutter. That's the second benefit. Now let's go into some things that are not necessarily like house benefits, but benefits for your child, which are the most important. So the thing I love about rotating toys is because it develops those characteristics in our kids that we all want our kids to have. And the first one is creativity. I cannot tell you how many studies have been done about the fact that when people, whether it's kids or adults, are presented with less options or materials to work with, they have so much more creativity instead of giving them like an endless number of possibilities and resources. So when we give our kids a smaller amount of toys to play with, they end up being a lot more creative with them. Not only that, but it helps our kids develop longer attention spans. When they have 10 different toys out, they're going to want to play with every single one. If they're playing in their room for an hour, let's say, they only get 6 minutes with each toy. That's only 6 minutes of an attention span. On the other hand, if you give them just 2 or 3 toys to play with, they're going to spend a lot longer with each of those individual toys, and it's going to increase their attention spans. The Journal of Infant Behavior and Development just came out with a recent study last year that talked about this specific thing. They said fewer toys results in healthier play for your kids and deeper cognitive development. And they actually recommended rotating toys and setting out small groups of toys instead of giving your kids, free run of all the toys in the household. So like I said, this is backed up by research. Not only that, but I'll tell you what, teachers and classrooms all across the country are using this strategy to keep kids engaged interested in what they're doing, and keep their classrooms clean because you have to clean up at the end of the day and get ready for the next day. When you're rotating out toys with your kids, you also get rid of a lot of that parent guilt about feeling like you have too many toys because your kids are genuinely playing with every single toy that they have. And they're getting the opportunity to experience every single one because you're presenting them in small groups instead of just giving them all their toys and they go back to the same one after one after one. Again, my disclaimer here is I do feel that it's super important on a regular basis, whether that's annually, before Christmas or after birthdays are a really good time to do this, to just go through your kids' toys and get rid of some of the stuff that seem kind of duplicate toys or they're not playing with as much or they've moved on from. So it is important to kind of get rid of stuff, but I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your kids' toys, and I think we realize we're all going to have more toys than we feel like we should. And this technique just lets you be able to utilize them all. So let's talk about how you can actually rotate toys in your household. So I kind of explained what it is. It's very simple. You're gonna just choose a small number of the toys to put out. The rest you're gonna put in boxes, bins, totes, whatever you wanna do. Stick them in the closet, basically storing all the other toys away. And you're just picking out 5 to 10 toys all around the house to keep out for them. Now, here is one mistake that I see people make all the time. And the question is, how often do we rotate the toys out? Well, as a teacher, we would rotate toys on a monthly or seasonal basis. So this means, like in a kindergarten classroom, if we're studying weather, there are raincoats in the dramatic play area, there's microphones so they can pretend to be weather anchors, there are umbrellas, different things like that. You want to keep these toys out long enough for them to play with them and have a chance to develop deeper types of play with the toys. If you are only sticking the toys out for a day, a week, 2 weeks, they're really not getting the opportunity to experience the full spectrum of what they can with the toy. We get bored a lot quicker than our kids do. I know that this doesn't seem like it's true for all of our children, but it really is. So they can become a lot more creative and imaginative than you and I can. Give them the chance to do that. Do not just swap out your toys after a week. I would really encourage you to give it at least a month, maybe even switch it out on a seasonal basis. When you do this, not only does it give them a chance to develop some of those play skills, but it makes it easier on you. We want rotating toys to be something that we can actually sustain and keep up with. So it's not just something that we get really motivated to do and we do this for 2 weeks and then we get burned out and we just forget it and then the playroom becomes overwhelming and disorganized again. Don't want that to happen. Again, my goal is for this to be something that you can do and keep up with on a long-term basis. So that kind of answers the question of how often we rotate the toys. Now the other question is, how do I know what toys to put out? Well, it's really up to you and it doesn't matter a whole lot. You don't even have to pick toys that really go together. Because like I said, if you give them different pieces, they will try and explore new things. So what I did in the classroom and what I do as a parent to make it easy on myself is just kind of stick with themes. So these can be related to the seasons or things that he's interested in. So if he really likes going to the zoo, I'm going to be getting out zoo animals. I'm going to set out books that have to do with zoo type stuff. We might get out his trains and talk about the train that we rode on the zoo, different things like that. Kids learn to play based on what they're experiencing in the real world. So when you can bring in stuff in your playroom that has to do with real life stuff that they're doing outside of the home, it really helps them process their day and go deeper cognitively. They start storing information better. They start processing information better. Their language is going to develop because they're talking about things that they did outside and now they're having a chance to play with it in the home as well. So we talked about the benefits of rotating toys, how we rotate them, which means what types of stuff we're getting out, how many, how often. But before we close out this video, I want to tell you the single biggest mistake that I see people making when it comes to rotating toys or even just putting toys in their kids' room. And that is when they set the toys out, they don't show the children what the toy is and how to play with it. I think as parents, we assume they're little, they're young, they like playing, they're gonna figure this out, and that's not the case. Kids really have to be taught how to play. When you're rotating out toys on a regular basis, you need to walk your kids through the room, and again, you're doing this on a monthly or quarterly basis. Walk them around the playroom and say, these are Easter eggs. Remember when we looked at eggs in the yard? We can hide these eggs around the room. Let's hide them around the room. And maybe the duck can come find them. You play that for a little bit, then you can say, some of these eggs open up. Let's see what we can put inside the eggs. Show them different ways that they can play with them so that they can explore on their own. If you don't show them where the toys are, that there are new toys, and how to play with them, then you're really kind of invalidating the whole swapping out toy process. They're not going to notice that they're there, or if they do, they're not going to know what to do with them. They're going to be asking where their old toys were. So it's super critical that when you put new toys in, that you are also bringing your child in and introducing it to them specifically. Toys are a good thing. Play is a good thing. We want our kids to enjoy their childhood and time that they have with their stuff. And rotating toys is a great way that we can take advantage of it. I really hope this video motivated and inspired you to only put a small group of toys out for your kids and to not feel bad about that. I hope that it helps you keep your playroom a lot more clean and organized, and I cannot wait to hear about your success. Please go down below and tell me, have you ever tried rotating toys before? If so, give some tips to other people. If not, what's been your holdup? Have you just not heard of it before? Are you not sure what to put out? I'd love to answer any of your questions, and make sure you put in those details because other people and other parents can really benefit from the things that you share. If you like this video, please share it with a parent that you know who has little ones. And then head on over to meganandjk.com. We have a really great resource I know you're gonna love that's called How to Keep Your Sense of Self and Sanity as a Stay-at-Home Parent. It has 7 different strategies about things that you can do to fill yourself up so that you're not pouring everything out for your kids. Thanks so much for spending time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.